Hey guys, what's going on? Moto Drang here, and if you guys are craving being cool and needing a style bike to show how cool you are, well, here it is. In this case, today we're going to be riding a 2020 Speedmaster, which is basically a Bonneville platform bike, and really is a cool machine. Now this is not a stock bike, and I'll show some footage here of what they look like stock. In this case, this is a 20, like I said. Now they haven't changed these since 16, so all the information should be good to go. In this particular case, crash bars, Vance & Hines pipes. We got a sort of custom-ish replacement seat that's more in the line of a bobber, and we have a luggage rack instead of a pillion for the passenger. We have add-on little bullet windscreen in the front, and other than that, in these T-bar drag bars, there's not really anything else different. So the nice thing about these bikes is you can custom them out really easy. We're talking about bars and a bolt-on windscreen, and some bolt-on engine protection bars. So there's not going to be a performance gap difference between this and what is a factory new machine, other than the very different seating stance. So this is what it looks like with me on it. I'm 6'3", and I'll talk more about that in the ride. One of the questions came up was that, is this too small for a person of my height or taller? And we'll get into that. With that, let's get rolling.
Well, I hope you guys never have to deal with GoPros. It's easily the worst part about doing this by yourself. Anyways, 2020 Speedmaster 1200. Okay, around 80 horsepower, 77 foot-pounds of torque. So it's not screaming high power, but nice level playing field of torque, which is Triumph's thing. And hey man, it's a Bonneville motor, so it's very predictable. Now I reviewed the bobber, check that one out. It's worth looking into, and we're just gonna get on this and ride. Quickly, a couple of things. The 2021s are the same. They have not changed since about 2016. This has Vance & Hines pipes, has a custom seat, similar to more of a bobber, has a windscreen, and different handlebars. It doesn't have the beach bars, which is a good thing, because I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan of those. Personally, just personal taste. Key starts on the side. And let's get to riding this bad boy. So right away, you've sit a little more forward on this particular bike because these bars still have the forward controls. Ooh, it sounds really great. I don't know if it's coming through. Switch over to the cams every now and then so you guys can hear this. Sounds wicked. So, wasting no time. Boy, this has a really interesting friction point, and feels definitely interesting. First thing that I was asked about this bike was, will it fit a person my size? Now, I am 6'3". It's going to take me a little bit to get used to these forward controls. I rarely ride bikes with forward controls. I actually like it. I can tell you that it's a very comfortable machine, and man, this thing just actually feels great right off the bat. It's point your hips in the direction and it seems to comply. Getting used to the shifter is going to be a little odd, but hey, I'm going to turn that up just a bit. Hopefully the video comes out good, guys. It's hard to tell. Okay. Shifter's a little clunkier on this forward control setup than the other way, but maybe that's just, more mechanical stuff happening. We're going to start the ride with in town. Talk about how the fitment, the ergos are, again with my height. 6'3", fits me good, but the question was actually whether the bike as a whole was too small. No, it's not. It's not too small for me. It's probably a really good bike for just about anyone. Although personally, it just comes down to a matter of taste. For personally, I prefer a larger bike. Okay, I just like a bigger stature bike. This feels great and all. It sounds good. The acceleration is always good on these engines. You know, that deceptive 80 horsepower figure, it just shouldn't turn people away, because what it really equates to is that you get used to that 80 horsepower like everywhere in the range. I mean, not 100%, but it's like at a very low range you start getting just a ton of torque, which is awesome. And they're easy to ride. Now, from factory, I mentioned it has beach bars. It also has a really no need to stop for a bus in the left lane, guys. Anyways, it also has a really cushy seat compared to the bobber. The great thing about these bikes is, and I don't think it's really a crime to review one that's modded, because the idea with these retro line bikes is that you make it your own. And someone did that with this. By the way, this bike is used. It's a 2020. It's for sale at Cascade. Only has like 560 miles. So, you know, that's a pretty screaming good deal for what you're gonna get. I don't know the price. I'll list it up here. But come and check this model out. It's got crash bars. It's got these wicked pipes. I love it. The fitment is really great, and if you're looking for something to just, you know, cruise on a I would say a relaxed road, that's where a bike like this with forward controls is going to shine. I don't know about it being necessarily sporty, unless you convert it to mid controls maybe. I see this more as a cruiser. It's just what it is. It's just not a cruiser in the sense like a Harley or an Indian. You know, it's not massive. It's not putting out like 1,800, minimum of 1,800 cubic inches, but it is liquid cooled 1,200, and you do get a lot of power. Plus, you know, interestingly, probably as much as a Harley. Now, the torque probably more on the Harley, but power might be higher on this stock. So, my dead cat is in my mouth, so that sounds bad, but it's not. Now, if I had to like put this bike into a place, it's really what it is it's like an optioned out Bonneville essentially. Come on, guys, let's go. We got reviews to do, don't they know? People thinking about McDonough. All right. Oh yeah. It's grumbly. Around town, it's easy enough to ride. You know, even with the forward controls at slow speed, I'm not having an issue. The seat, this custom seat is just a harder leather, like, you know, more finished looking seat. It looks nice. It's comfortable enough right now, but I'm here to tell you, dudes and dudettes, you will never know how comfortable a seat is until you own the bike. It's the trap of all bikes. You buy it, you sit on it, you go, this is great, I could do this all day. And then you take your first 500 mile in a day trip, and that will reveal the truth. So most bikes have this problem. So I can't really speak for like a long haul ride on this bike, but it is supportive. I'm a little canted forward on this particular bike because of the bars. These are T-bars, you can see. I kind of like them from a drag perspective. Like, definitely feels better than the beachy bars. But hey, if you're looking for that classic dig that the beach bars have, and you're used to the way that handles, go with it. Can't believe the sun's coming out. It's been so miserable. You guys live in upper northwest, you know all about it. People in Europe and Scotland, Ireland, you know all about it. I mean, this pipe is almost perfect for me. Like I like a rumble, but I don't like insane Captain No Baffles Harley sound. That when it's eardrum piercing, it's a little much for me. I'm kind of an old man, at heart at least. So, features that come on this bike, well, it's got cruise control. That's pretty wicked for, you know, a bike of this price range, and kind of what I would say, maybe not entry level, but just above it. You got heated grips on this little button guy there. That's nice. We'll turn those on. How about that? One thing that's nice about this kind of smaller frame, and I know I said I like these big gigantic bikes. I owned a Goldwing 1834 model, and I really liked it. And I believe it or not, I didn't find it big enough. My knees were up against the plastic fairing. It would, on a long trip, cause me discomfort. Not an issue here. This narrow bike, you know, your legs are not way out wide like they are on some big machines. This one's like, you know, put the old sun visor down. This one's very manageable. It's just that, you know, I'll have to write a little more to give you that opinion. Is this something I would own? In the particular way this bike is set up, the answer is no. But hey, that's the name of the game when you're customizing. It's someone did this for them, not for me. So, other than that, though, it's a perfectly fine bike. I really liked the bobber. It's the same platform as the bobber. It just has a pillion on it, and it's that low sitting. And bobber might be a little lower. I'm not sure, but it's that low sitting. Let's give them some space so I can put a little mustard on it, huh? Give it the beans. So I'm going to do it from a third gear pull here at this straightaway here. Here we go. That's at 4,000 and up. It's got like a bit of rev hang. It's not a bad thing. Just something different about the twins versus the triples. Here's a fourth gear from. Yeah, it's just got a nice low end. And by the way, I think I screwed that up earlier. I said 4,000. I meant 40 miles an hour. I'm still getting used to the dash. Every bike I get on is different. Here's a nice turn. Okay, rocks and water. Yucky. So let's do a higher rev takeoff from 40 miles an hour in second gear. Where the heck is my... Ready, here we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, it likes the mid-range. I think that's where I'd say it really wants to get up and roll. Nice. I think it's the most alien thing to me is this rev hang that I'm experiencing. You know, it doesn't have a lot of engine braking as compared to my Tiger, but again, I'm not going to hold it against the bike. So, this does have this little tiny windscreen, which, you know, is it doing anything? Well, it kind of on my chest is not in the wind a little bit. You guys who watch my videos know that I like to put gigantic windscreens on things, because I guess I'm a wimp. I would probably have a touring screen on this bike, because where I would see this being just an awesome bike is like out on the coast, Highway 101, you know, heading south to California, and just enjoying the scenery. It's just, to me, I'm really not, I don't have the urge to just, you know, sport bike this thing. It's just, it's fun. Doesn't feel incredibly nimble, but it turns well. It holds a turn. You steer with your hips more than than I'm used to, but now this has the 6-speed gearbox, so you're going to be fine cruising highway, all day long. And these things get reported like 50, 60 miles to the gallon. So the small little tank should still get you, I've heard, 180 miles or something. So that's pretty good. I mean, I'll be honest with you, my Tiger with a much bigger tank barely gets to 200 miles. It's probably because the way I ride the damn thing. But I gotta say, forward controls are growing on me. I like it. It's very nice on my knees. I've got arthritis, lads. I mean, it's like wanting to lift the front tire, which for such a long wheelbase is impressive. But you see, this is what I'm kind of getting at. I don't really want to haul ass on this bike. It feels good. It just feels good kind of chilling, taking in this beautiful scenery and looking out for rocks on the road so I don't die. But just a nice cruising bike. I don't know. I mean, if that's what you're looking for. I can already tell you, would I buy this bike? No, not really. Nothing against it. It's a really nice bike, but it's a little one-dimensional for me, and I kind of have to use my bikes like multi-purpose. So I've actually got a car on my bumper for once. Normally on a bike, I'm like, that's not an issue. Certainly very stable gyroscopically. It's that engine. A lot of upper end vibration in my pegs. Could be the exhaust system, not sure. Like once you get up to 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, yeah, it's a fair amount of vibration coming through my boots. But probably you'd want to just kick it down into the low gear and purr it out, I mean, it sounds brutal. So, yeah, this windscreen is really like doing nothing for me. In fact, it's like lifting my helmet up. I think the windscreen's making it worse. I guess if you tuck in, but that's kind of ridiculous on a cruising machine. So we're going to end the ride up here, I think. I'm just giving you impressions here. I mean, I don't know that I need to go through all the gimmicky Triumph spiel. I'm not really that kind of person. And I'm trying to be real about this. Nice bike. Not for me, but I could see this being a popular bike. And, depending what exactly where you're at, that's another factor that's important with these machines. Feels weird on these forward controls, guys, not gonna lie. It would take me some time. I know that was really a candy-ass roundabout turn there, but gotta be safe. Man's gotta know his limits. Yeah, no. So what would I do, let's say, if I wanted this bike? What would I do? I said I'd put the bigger windscreen on. I would change the handlebars, not to these. I would change it to... I would change the handlebars to something a little more swept back, but a little straight. So like, I just want these same bars, but I want them back. Maybe a little more narrow. Because to me, it's a very relaxed seating bike, and these bars are kind of a contradiction to what my gut is telling me about this machine. So yeah, I would put a more swept-back bar set. Really, it comes pretty good. I might get like a little soft bag luggage kit, you know, so you can do some light duty touring, some weekend trips, and I don't know, change the rubber based on where you live, I guess, you know, just the usual shit. So not too much you need to do. Now this bike has a LED headlight, and I have reviewed the bobber, and I got to tell you, I was really blown away by it. It for a single can headlight, just incredible, incredible light beam and spread, and it makes me jealous on my old Tiger, really. So you're not going to have to worry about that. I still don't recommend riding at night too much, depending where you're at. Bad shit can happen, but if you have to, it's got a good light. Now, I have ridden bikes with beach bars before, if that's a question you have, and I don't really care for them. They feel very alien to me. You know, I grew up riding Huffies and, you know, mountain bikes, BMX bikes, so this kind of bar set is just more normal to me. And even when I switched over to bikes, I had a Hayabusa, so I got used to that clip-on set, which clip-ons are very easy to get used to. Beach bars really feel strange to me. Like, I feel like unsure of myself with them, and I had them on a Virago. Yeah, I'd change those bad boys immediately. But it's a style bike, you know, we can't ignore that. And, you know, if you're looking for a style bike, you know, that's one of the important parts about this machine. It's not like an adventure bike, or even the Scrambler. You know, I'm a big fan of the Scrambler 1200 XE, the big one, and it's got the same motor that's in this. I love this motor, and it's awesome in an adventure bike setup. So it's just really good in anything I've ever, you know, ridden. Speed Twin was great. Bobber was surprisingly fast and sporty for how it looks. You can just wail on that throttle, and the thing is just down on the ground. It's great. Very usable power, and it's kind of the same on this, but I would say this is definitely not as sporty as a bobber. So feels like it's a little cushier in the suspension. I can't verify that right now, but let's get to rolling. Hey, my feet are finding the pegs now, like, immediately, so I guess you can get used to it pretty quick. See, this right here feels good. Just easing into acceleration and just kind of cruising it out. Bike's got character. Oodles of it. Is this bike for you? That depends on a lot of stuff. I would say you need, if you're looking for, again, a style bike that's a cruiser, it's a great bike. Is it big enough? That's for you to decide. Again, I'm 6'3". I like a bike a little bigger in stature than this. I'm just being honest. Like, if I was going to get a cruiser, I'd probably be looking at like an Indian Chieftain or something, you know, or a Harley Road King. I really like the Road Kings, and they're a little bigger, and it allows me to get my feet even more forward, which, frankly, I gotta say, that's my favorite thing on this bike. Like, just how relaxed my legs are. There's like no building up of tension in my knees, and yeah, these bars are kind of hurting my shoulders a little bit, but these are not stock bars, guys. The other ones are much more neutral. You're back here, so I wouldn't factor that against this bike. Again, easy fix. But I gotta say, the Vance and Hines, that's a nice little bonus. and low miles, and probably get a good deal on this one. So if I'm gonna buy one, I'm gonna get the used one. I don't know about you guys. Actually, let me know, what do you guys prefer? Are you new bike people? You old bike people? I like a girl with some stories to tell, experience, and beef. That was a delicate sneeze. One other thing about these these Speedmasters, if you're looking at one, if you go before 2016, I believe, you'll find that they are 900s. Basically, they're the 900 Bonneville motor. Still a lot of pep in that bike. I don't believe it has cruise control on it, but don't let that discourage you from a good deal. The 900's got lots of get up and go because of all that torque. So, if you're looking at one, you can expect it to be, I'm going to say in the 50 horsepower range, something like that, 55, maybe 50 foot-pounds of torque, something like that. So you do get a fair bit more with this, and the thing is that the fuel delivery is just really smooth, and it's not going to probably let you go too crazy. So it's not that, and this bike will lurch on you. I mean, it's got a lot of low end, and earlier I kind of let off the clutch a little early, and it surprised me a little bit. Gave me a little tingle in my dingus. Brakes, by the way, are they're okay. They're not brakes are not blowing my mind. It's a squishier suspension than, say, the Bobber, at least the way it feels to me. Like, it takes the bumps really nice. I mean, that's the plus of that. Like, I just went over some pretty gnarly ones, and just nothing. Like a slight bit of jar there, but nothing like the Bobber. The Bobber was much stiffer. But the brakes are a little divey, and not the fastest stopping I've ever seen, but very adequate. Quite possibly better than on my old Tiger. So it just depends what you're comparing it to, I think. I remember that one time I bought a high-dollar German turbo vehicle so I could go slow as shit. All right, little wrap up. Just get into my position here. All right, guys, as is going to be the new normal, I am making lists at the end of the reviews so that I can think about the ride that I had and try to give you to-the-point details about what I thought about it. So, start with the pros. Pros for the Speedmaster 2016 through 2021. It's a comfortable bike. It's a cushier suspension, the seat's softer. Of course, you can change the seat to whatever you want, but it's a softer experience than the Bobber. The Bobber, probably the biggest con I had for that was it was so jarringly, everything was so rigid and hard, and a very sporty bike, but very, very hard and uncomfortable when you're hitting bumps and things. Not the case here. So are they the same bike? They're very similar. They both have monoshock in the rear. And they look very similar. Of course, with the Speedmaster, you get the giant fender and you get a pillion. Engine, I really like that 1200. I say it every time. I'm just not going to go that far into it. They put this engine in a lot of bikes. So that 1200 Bonneville motor is great. And it sounds good too. It sounds good stock. If you go put a Vance & Hines or any other aftermarket pipe, you're probably going to really like that as well. I also think it is a style bike, so either you're gonna like it or you're not, and that's just what it is. If you like it, that's great. Personally, let's get into the cons. The styling could go either way, because I think that actually the market for this particular bike is a smaller segment of the Triumph retro lineup. I get a feeling that they just don't probably sell as many of these as compared to even Bobbers, and maybe not Bobbers compared to even just a regular Bonneville. So this is a bike that is very stark. You're either going to love the looks or you're going to hate it, I think.
or and maybe be indifferent, but hey, that's just my opinion. Let's get into the cons. It's a pretty simple machine. This is a short list. So, cons, those beach bars, you got to get them off of there, at least in my opinion. I just don't like beach bars. And even the hand grips that come on it stock are just a little funny feeling to me. So, next up, I think that one of the benefits to the Speedmaster is you get a pillion. It's a pretty small pillion. It can be functional and it can probably be upgraded to get a backrest and all that kind of good stuff. But one of the problems that you're probably going to run into is the need to upgrade that rear monoshock to the Fox shock. I'll show it here. It's not that expensive of an upgrade, and if you're going to be putting luggage or another person on the bike, I highly recommend it. It's going to give you a lot more dampening and compression. And I mean, I'm not a technical guy, but like I know that it's going to be pushing that spring, the stock spring, to start loading the bike up like that. So keep that in mind. If you're going to be riding with another passenger, budget for the Fox shock at the minimum, or another shock. Doesn't have to be Fox. This is a Pro and a con. I actually put handling in the pros, and I did like the handling. It's a very confident bike. When you get in the turn, you just point your hips, and it seems to just ease in. But see, it eases in. Thus, it's a little bit lethargic. It's nowhere as sporty as the Bobber even. And to me, maybe not as sporty as just a Bonneville. Of course, I don't consider any of these sport bikes by any standard, but I'm just speaking about like a sharpness of handling perspective. And I know people who really thrash these. So you can ride these aggressively, and they do really well. They're very confident. It felt a little lethargic to me. So that's what I'm saying. And lastly, is it too small? Now, I have it on my con list. So for me, a little bit. I just prefer a larger frame bike, and that's personal preference. It is by no means too small for me to ride or be able to comfortably ride in that sort of way. So it's personal preference. It fits me okay. I've been told I look a little big on it, so you judge that for yourself in the beginning of this video.
Alright guys, I'm wrapping it up. That's it. I will catch you guys next time. Let me know what you think. Any other questions, I'll try to answer them. You guys have a better 2021 than we had of a 20. How about that? Alright, I'll catch you guys later.
One, two, ready?